2020. Oh, man, I cannot. We had so much fun watching races this year.
Yep.
But I can't wait for this to be over either. But we had so much fun watching races. But I can't wait for this to be over.
And we didn't get to go to too many races.
Whoa, now you tipped the scales.
Yeah.
Now you tipped the scales.
I mean, for me, that's one reason I'm excited to see 2020 race season.
I got to some, but not nearly as much as I would like to.
Well, and we didn't get to have any live shows.
You're right about that. Oh my gosh!
Think
about the Jackson Nationals. Oh my gosh! The Knoxville
Port
Nationals.
Royal, all the places we've gone, Eldora, Nashville,
all
the fun
of the places,
races
all of the faces that we didn't get to see this year.
Charlotte, here.
Absolutely.
Show.
Yeah. So it is the end of the season. This is our last broadcast of the year. We're glad you joined us. It is Wing Nation, presented by Dryden, by DRF Racing Oils, and by Hercules Tires. I don't even know how long we've been doing this, but for a long, long time, we have had Brian Carter, the CEO of the World Racing, come in on our final podcast, and just kind of give us a state of the sport address. And so that's what we're going to do today. He's not going to come in because we're responsible social distancers here. Okay, so we're going to do that via a Zoom call.
I don't know. You might be 5.5
I know.
feet.
We've got to check. We're going to have to make sure. We are all decked out in our blue colors here today. That is for sure. Before we get to all of that, I want to remind you or tell us about our friends at Plan B Sales. Founded in 2010, they started as a Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor. Now, Auto World, Greenlight Collectibles, Brand Art, Sam Bass Artwork, and University of Racing Lines. They have a huge inventory.
They have partnerships with Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many others. Use promo code MRN for free shipping on orders over $20.
Yeah, Plan B Sales. If you've got a sprint car driver or a NASCAR driver on your holiday shopping list, you can knock it right out now. They'll get it shipped right out to you. That is great, great stuff for sure. Speaking of great stuff, it was last call for the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. It was Brad Sweet and Logan Schuchart. It was the dirt track at Charlotte. Here's our friend Johnny Gibson with a call on Dirt Vision.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Race for the lead, John Gibson.
Logan Schuchart to the inside of Brad Sweet. Wheel to wheel on a turn four. They'll stay side by side. Sweet has it at the line, but here's Schuchart. Slide job into 1 and 2. New leader, Logan Schuchart, as they exit the second corner.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Def, the official DEF of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
Pride. Passion. Performance. We are Team Dryden.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Dryden, by DRF Racing Oils, and by Hercules Tires. Let's go to the Sage Fruit Zoom line. We normally do this in person, but 2020 has caused us all kinds of 2020 challenges. The CEO of the World Racing Group, Brian Carter, joins us. Hello, Brian. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hey, Steve. It's good to talk to you guys after rolling up the season in 2020 and putting it behind us. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well. Relieved, happy, satisfied, content, sad, all of the things the last day of school or the last day of the season brings. I think we're all in the same boat. Brian, I want to start really big picture, and I'm just going to start a statement and let you finish it. The state of sprint car racing, 410s particularly, in North America right now is?
Spectacular. The racing has been spectacular. The fields are spectacular. The the energy and excitement at the races we were able to complete, spectacular. It is a great time to be a sprint car fan right now. So the races we were able to complete and the places we were able to race, the fans got to see an extraordinary level of skill and talent that I think are unmatched in the recent history of sprint car racing, candidly.
Absolutely. Brian, when you look at 2020 or look back at it now this season, what is the biggest emotion you feel? Is it relief that you made it through this COVID year? Is it pride because you were able to put on so many successful races? What's your biggest emotion now that the final race is behind us?
It's been a really emotional roller coaster all year. With the uncertainty and the loathing that creates, and then there's a significant amount of joy that we all derive from the racetrack. So you got to experience the happiness of being back at the racetrack, and then the surreal nature of not having the fans, which we all generate so much electricity from. But for me, it gives me great pride in the organization and the racing community as a whole, that we were able to figure out, because racing and the lifestyle is so important to us all, how we could work within the rules and push the limits of what we thought we could do and what we thought we were capable of, and continue the lifestyle that's so important to us all. It's much more than just a sport to all of us. It is a way we live, and when it's that much on the line, there's always a way to figure out how to do it. So the emotion I feel right now is a significant amount of just happiness that it's over, and the fact that I can have hope about what 21 is going to bring to us, given the success that we had despite the pandemic. And that's what the hope is pretty powerful, more powerful than fear in most places. So
totally agree. That's a life thing. I'm a hope, not a fear guy, and I like that. Brian, when 2020, when we look back at it, I think every one of us here with Wing Nation, with Motor Racing Network, with NASCAR, we come out of the season with some new elements, some new items, some new ideas that maybe we would not have tried, maybe we were forced to try. Are there some things now that you saw, that you learned, that is like, well, let's roll that into 2021?
Absolutely. Through the disruption creates opportunity. It always has. And so the disruption created the opportunity for us to try some things, to try a different format, to try some things on how we register cars, try the way we present to the fans, just to try some things on the calendar, not be so set in the ways. And we learned a lot about what we could do as an organization, what the sport can do as a whole, what the fans are capable of doing. And we took a lot away from that. And right now, while I'm in here talking to you guys, my entire team, every series director for every series, is sitting down in a room, crafting the run of show, crafting what are we going to take from what we learned this year, and how are we going to apply it to every show next year. So every chance we get, we're trying to do that. And with the disruption, we learned a lot of things. We didn't know where we were racing 4 weeks. 3 weeks from the time we raced, we announced the show, promoted it, sold tickets to it, organized it, and ran it in a successful way. And we did that a lot of the early part of the summer. And that, in my mind, is radically different than anything, we would have ever thought or contemplated. So we've got staging points for our season next year as to where we're going to decide. We're booking the shows for 21 normal course. We've got our shows set through the starting with Volusia, running across the South. We're not taking a weekend off. We're going to run out to Texas. We've got a decision point when we're going to California. If we're not going to California, where are we going? So we've got all of these decision points in the places. It's not near as set in stone, but we're going to set a calendar very much like a normal year, and then know that we can navigate through hopefully whatever comes our way. I know we'll navigate through it. Hopefully it doesn't disrupt the season like we had. But to set down at the end of the season, look at 54 races completed out of 93, paying full point funds, still having all the teams with us that started traveling with us, and then being able to have 25 tracks on the waiting list to get a show for next year, that's pretty exciting.
For sure. Brian, when we look at online streaming and Dirt Vision, obviously, specifically for you, it was kind of controversial when it first was rolled out in the sprint car, the dirt world. People were worried about how it was going to affect people buying tickets, yada, yada, yada. But I think looking at 2020, would you have been able to survive without something like Dirt Vision?
No, what we needed to figure out a way, and we've been at it. And I looked at my to-do list from 2006 and 7, actually, as I was preparing for the meetings to talk about what 21 was. The idea of bringing the audience to the fan base that could not be at the racetrack. If we're racing in Pennsylvania, there are fans that want to be engaged in Arizona and California that cannot come to the race in Pennsylvania. How do you engage them? How do you get them as part of the active part of the show? Through social, through video streaming, and you're absolutely correct. Our ability to, at the same time, be flexible with the event, to be flexible with the World Racing Group, and then be flexible with our own network, broadcast network, candidly, it allowed us to go back to racing as fast as we were able to. And when you look at May the 8th in Knoxville, Iowa, with 380 people, we had less than 400 people on the property. We ran a full World of Outlaws show, safety, all of the teams, all their staff, fire track, the track prep, our officials. We had a secondary group of officials that were off-site ready in case something happened that we needed to bring somebody in. That was only capable because we were able to engage those fans around the world and bring them the racing and create a financial model that created the opportunity to do that without spending a significant amount of money. And without the investment that was in Dirt Vision, even before we bought it in 2004, to what it has become, it's an incredible awareness campaign. Now we can be engaged. We can see everything. You couldn't see it at night. You can watch it the next night. You can watch it in the vault. It creates engagement from the fan and really gave us all something to be excited about all summer, even if we weren't racing through iRacing. Think about this. We were able to go into a video game and reach in and pull a broadcast to Dirt Vision, and then to the capabilities of doing it on live national TV through CBS and Fox, and to think about being able to reach into a video game. Now it's normal course. We did it last night. I mean, it's just normal course to bring in the video games and televise them into the broadcast. So it's an exciting time from a technology perspective, from a streaming perspective, the engagement that it creates. You know, there are going to be some people that can't come to the racetrack, but we want them so engaged that when they can, they're there, because the experience is visceral and real and in your face. And there's no comparison to something on your computer screen versus what's happening at the racetrack. And we just want people to be excited about it. And we've found in the documents, even this, I ran into a guy who's been a subscriber of Dirt Vision for a long time here at Charlotte. He'd been to 31 World of Outlaws shows this year. Drove from Minnesota to Charlotte. 31 World of Outlaws sprint car shows, because he said he's going to live, make decisions, and go racing, and that type of engagement. He said, but I didn't get to see the other 24 except for on Dirt Vision. I couldn't tell you how happy I was. I didn't miss one. So that's the kind of stuff we're trying to create, and Dirt Vision has allowed us to kind of navigate this with some financials that didn't rely on the racetrack, and that's good for the series. And the investment back is going to be, and the fans are going to see this, the investment in 21 going forward is going to be at the racetrack. The fan experience at the racetrack is primary number one. You've kind of seen a little bit of we've been doing it for a long time at the racetrack with the fan engagement and fan interaction, but the addition of 3 pretty significant assets, the Jumbotrons, we purchased a fleet of Jumbotrons that are going to be at all of our races next year, so that the fans can see what's happening in the pit area, what the world is seeing from the drone view, kind of a more holistic view of what's happening at the racetrack, because there's so much more to the storyline than what's on the racetrack. And the fans, although experiencing it, firsthand at the track, but they can't see what's happening in the work area. They can't see what's happening in the pit area. They don't see that perspective shot to give them an idea of what's the magnitude of what's happening. And that's going to be added to the racetrack next year. So all of our investments going forward will be to enhance the fan experience and to bring that to the racetrack.
I think you actually my question, and I was going to qualify it by being the devil's advocate of Dirt Vision. I was one of the tough sells on pay-per-view. I mean, I was one of those guys that I was kind of that old school promoter friend that was like, oh, we can't do that. We're gonna do it. And obviously the numbers have proven otherwise. So, but basically my devil's advocate question is, all of these things to draw the fans out, because we've made it so easy to sit at home watching it. And is that why the investment in the at-track is to continue to make that worthwhile, to get off the couch and get off Dirt Vision to come out to the racetrack?
Absolutely. So, we have a pretty well-documented case study where the fan experience got to be too good away from the track, and kind of and enhance when you enhance it that much away from the track, why are they coming to the racetrack and spending 10 times the ticket sales? It's easy to, we've done plenty of economic studies. The ticket is less than 10% of what somebody spends when they come to the racetrack, especially if they're traveling on a weekend deal. So you've got the lodging and the food and the transportation and all the other pieces that cost you money to go to a racetrack. So we are not going to lose sight of the fan experience at the racetrack. It is critical to the success. So, and something that candidly isn't a change of direction for us. We've been doing it from the very beginning. The pit area is open. That really was one of the most heartbreaking pieces for us, is that as we started to have problems in Knoxville, we needed to start protecting some of our competitors and so we needed to we tightened down a little bit just so that we could see through the end of the season. So it was heartbreaking to tell a fan they can't go to the pit area after the end of the race. But I think they all understood why we were doing it. And I expect to go right back to the full interaction and engagement. But that's part of the racing that you can't get watching a TV screen. You can't smell the methanol. You can't feel the dirt. And you really can't, feel a part of the community when you're not there. So, it's the numbers, again, have been documented. The Dirt Vision fans in the early days would go to 2 or 3 shows. This past year, they went to over 5 shows on average, including 5 shows this year versus 3 the previous year. And they're all it's because they're more engaged. They can't wait till tomorrow to find out what's happening. They want to know now. They want to know now what's happening. Twitter's not fast enough. Race monitors as fast as you can get. But now if we can show them the video, our fans are interacting with us on a daily basis. And they're looking, where are we going next? And, oh my God, I can make that run. Oh my gosh, we've heard for years how good the racing is at Hobstadt, or Red River Valley, or, at Peevely. Now they get to see it and go, holy crap, people have been telling us the truth. We need to go. And they're doing that. They're going to see the guys hanging out on Bear Hill in Pennsylvania. They're going to see the races that they've heard about. Now they're getting to watch them, and they're seeing the whole perspective. Now the people are traveling. And it's pretty easy to see what's happening in our country right now. People are staying close to home. They're buying campers and they're doing that thing, and they're going to the races. And that's a good thing for us. So it's my responsibility to make sure that show's as good as it can be when we get there.
Very true. I want to switch topics a little bit to the teams, Brian. You mentioned earlier that all the full-time teams competed. You have put on some spectacular racing. But I know you communicate with them on 2020 and what you do with COVID.
I think I understand the COVID's those guys racing for a living saw a significant decrease in the funds associated with racing. That's hard. There are some of our parts of our tour that are expensive and they kind of break even, but we took some pretty big days, pretty big payoffs, and took those out of the financial. The pie got smaller. And that hurts everybody. And there's some people that rely heavily on that hurt harder than some of the others. So the sponsors, we had some sponsors that had to pull back a little because their businesses were significantly impacted. So you have to take all that in consideration. And it's a tough balance to get all those things to work. And particularly the teams that relied on the winnings and the tow money up and down the road, you just took them and cut 40% out. That 40%, it wasn't 40% extra when we started, so it surely cut into something. Mm-hmm. And that's hard, but everybody who started the year finished. And that's a testament to the commitment by the teams and the owners and candidly the tracks and everything, just to kind of see our way through this year. It was tough. It was a tough year. When you take away 40% of anything, it's gonna be hard, and it was harder on some teams than others. But every single one of them are excited about coming back, and that's going to be exciting to see for 21. Yeah.
Brian, the World of Outlaw tour schedule, and you guys announced it last fall, and it's been fairly. I understand there's always racetracks and always wanted to be added, but with 2020, you were able to go to places that maybe it was seen so far. Wayne County is the one that comes to mind. That just seemed like historically a reach to get there. Lord knows a few years ago, we used to beat you up every year about Port Royal. Remember those conversations every year. What did that mean, getting to places that you couldn't get to, and maybe going forward, do they find a spot at a place like that?
We were able to, because of the calendar and the challenges, actually the middle sizes and smaller facilities were much more conducive to trying to get something done and create the excitement of the event. You don't want to sit in just like Charlotte was a perfect example. There's 12,000 seats and you sell 1,000 seats. looks like it's empty. It's not exciting. You don't want to be there. You're wondering why you're there if the seats, 25 seats around you are empty. So places like Wayne County reinforce the fact that the fans are a resilient bunch, and we need the electricity of a full grandstand. That's what the promoters buy when they buy our show. There's good sprint car racing all around the country, but when you bring the World of Outlaws shows in, you're going to do it in front of a full house. And that's that level of energy and excitement is an important part of creating that event, that destination, and all the other pieces. And to bring those to places that hadn't seen a show in a while and had never seen a show or hadn't seen a show in 30 years, that's pretty exciting. It was, again, one of those opportunities inside of the disruption to be able to do that. The fact of the matter is that if we go back to normal, we only have so many weekends, or only so many Friday and Saturday nights. So there's a little bit of that hard conversation that, yes, we were there, we had a great event. You're not going to be on the calendar in 21, but you may be on the calendar in 22. So you're going to have to create some of this. I think you're going to see a little more of the cycling of events coming in. So we have some nice things, new racetracks in 21 that we haven't been to, that we'll be able to create in the calendar. But there's going to be some that we were able to race at this year that aren't going to get a date next year. And it's not because it's just because you run out of time and you start traveling your traveling calendar. But that doesn't mean that, that we didn't have a great show there and we didn't appreciate it and we want to be back. It's hard to, we're going to have 91 nights again on their calendar. The calendar as I have it right now on my desk is 91 nights for 2021. And that's exciting, but there's only 91 nights, only 91 nights, and you can't get to everybody. This is, again, the 20 racetracks on the, but when we start running in Volusia, we're not taking a weekend off until October. Halloween's the first week of March. We're going to run. We have one weekend in March. I kind of call it a weekend off because we're running on Thursday. We're running on Sunday. So I'll give them those 2 days off in March. But beyond that, there's no time off until October. We're going to run straight from Volusia, go to the Atlanta area. We're going to come down through Mississippi and Louisiana and go to Texas, and then head out to Arizona and hopefully in Nevada somewhere. So it's going to be, we're not going to take a, we've had plenty of time off this year and we're going running.
Wow. When you talk about 2021, it sounds like the schedule is great. The teams are good. How is the sponsorship then? I don't know if I'm in that audio, so I apologize. But as far as sponsorship of the series
Sponsorship impact for 21. We have incredible group of sponsors. You couldn't ask for a better, more engaged sponsor of NOS and Lauren and all the work that her team does, and fan interaction and the sampling and all the rest. So, we've been able to navigate, and through the additional broadcast TV we were able to put together in the spring with the addition of the iRacing, and then a vibrant calendar once we went back to going racing. I don't see a sponsorship hitch at all. If anything, there's a lot more desire to understand better our broadcast network, what we can do at site, the interaction, the fan social, everything is up twofold, if you can believe it, over last year. The social interactions, the impressions, we're talking about billions. It's hard to imagine, but the World of Outlaws branding, 2.4 billion impressions across the scheme. And from that perspective, yes, we've got some extensions on the contracts that people are chomping at the bit to get done on the sponsor side, that I'm pretty excited about the future on the marketing engagement. It's going to change. I mean, we have to redefine what you call a sponsorship. It's not happening just at the racetrack anymore. So all these fans are engaged. The social community and the at-track community is a part of it. The broadcast, the 16 more shows on CBS coming this fall, all of the pieces around Dirt Vision, the constant year-round daily interaction is something people want to be a part of, and just have to figure out how to integrate them the right way so everybody's successful.
Brian, Aaron asked about Dirt Vision, which was one of my hot button 2020 topics. One of the other topics that really became instrumental in bringing the sport back was iRacing and the gaming aspect of that. How does that now work forward? I know you had a race earlier on this week. How does that work forward now? And is that a stepped up presence as we work particularly through some downtimes here during the off season?
Yeah, we've had that integrated for a little while. I think this is the second full year we've had it on Dirt Vision, and it's outside of the paywall so people can get engaged. The iRacing piece, we've been a partner for a while. It is interesting how we can integrate that in. Nobody had ever, if you'd asked me, we talked about trying to do some pieces around broadcasting that and reaching into the video game and streaming it. People have been doing that for a long time, uploading and publishing videos from inside of a video game, but to actually do it and then to engage our drivers to do it. So anything we do with iRacing in the off season will be much more of a social party than a competitive racing. I want people to, you should really hear Jacob and Logan back and forth on the simulator. I mean, we had them in our office. We put them in the simulator while we were doing our virtual banquet. And what you need to hear these guys sort of interact. Now, we might run it on a minute delay for censoring and stuff, but that's what I want the people to feel. I want the people to know who these guys are. These guys are fun, and they're funny. They're witty and humor, and they'll tell you what it is. And if they're racing on a video game, somebody just wrecked them and didn't cost them nothing, that word's coming back the next time around. It's that's what I want iRacing to be, is just a facilitator of us to show the community and show our fans who we are and what we can do. And that's what I want for iRacing in the off season. At the same time, there's some pretty serious competition happening on Monday nights. And they're running for real money. And there's some guys that made a name for themselves in the iRacing world that have stepped into the real world, and people know their names now. Now, when you look at some of the Logan Seavies or the Macris of the world, these guys, they had a chance to show themselves off on iRacing, and they put together some race teams and have made a presence. And that sort of stuff's exciting, because that's expanding the reach to a younger crowd. It's expanding something that they can put in their hands, something that you can interface with the Dirt Vision apps and the other pieces. And to me, that's, again, another way to reach out and show the world and create a community that somebody wants to come and take a look.
Brian, when we talk about your off season, how different does it look this year? I know you said your schedule is somewhat set. You've got some bits and pieces that are a little bit moving, but no PRI show. Things are just a bit different. What does your off season look like?
Well, we go racing with the Extreme Dirt Car Series in 2 weeks. So for 2021, we're started. So 2 weeks from now, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, we're going racing, or the Sunday before Thanksgiving, actually. Yeah. And we're doing the Ruderman race in Florida. So we're running Volusia. So we've got 8 races, and then we go racing January 13th with the World of Outlaws late model. So my off season, yeah, sure. But it does change. Charlotte, it was an emotional win to finish here. We talked a little bit off camera before everybody got to hear it. It was an emotional victory for us to finish off the season. I didn't know how the points races were going to sort out, but I wanted the races sorted on the racetrack here at Charlotte like it was initially planned. So it was important to do that. We carry a lot of excitement and energy and momentum out of Charlotte. We carry it to PRI. We're not going to have that this year. The PRI gets everybody excited about what's happening in January and February. So I think we're going, there's some more of our social beast that's in each of us that's going to miss those things. But candidly, I see more racetracks with their schedules out early. I see more announcements for 21. The hope is sort of taken over a lot of that stuff. So I think that, yes, we're all going to miss that interaction at PRI. And most of our commerce happens before that. We're just celebrating that commerce when we get there at PRI. And for us, we're hammered down. We got the late model schedule out as soon as we've ever got it out. The sprint car schedule will be out here shortly, which will be typically we would use PRI as a catalyst to get that done. We're just going to create our own catalyst and get those things done and start racing. So that's what I see. It's going to be a bit of we won't really feel it until after, we don't have PR to look for. Damn, when I get my good steak dinner. Everybody has their things that it's just going to be a bit of a hole in our season, and we'll fill it in and we'll get on to the next one.
Yeah, I can't imagine the poor schedule at St. Elmo's when they announced that closed. I can't imagine what the calendar looked like as dinner after dinner after dinner went away that week.
You want to have dinner at 5, you have dinner at 9, you do both. I mean, sometimes
I know.
You're stuffed by the time you're done. So.
God, now we end up with not at all, that's for sure. I do want to allow you to address the frustrations at Charlotte with last call. And we had Logan on earlier this week on our podcast, and he could not have stated it any better. He talked about the hard work of the track crew. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't work, and the dust situation. Brian, just as the operator of the series, could you kind of just state what your take is on the last call this past weekend?
So the last call wasn't anything close to what we consider to be presentable as a series and a sanction. The sad part, we've been partners with Charlotte Motor Speedway for every bit of 15 years, and the partnership existed before I got involved. So and I can tell you that the journey towards a better racing surface started 18 months ago, a year ago. And they'd identified what they believed to be a solution, because we were on a path to needing to correct that surface in the last 2 or 3 years. So they went through every single step the right way. They're making the right decisions. They thought they had acquired the material to make it better. So spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, time and energy, all those pieces to trying to create a solution that was better than we had. So for that, I absolutely commend them. And we had a good races the week before, but we didn't have the aero package, and it really didn't have a chance to really see this track set. So as the issue escalated, the late models don't have the aero the sprint cars do. We started to show itself. We tried something different from from Wednesday to Thursday. Got a little bit better, but you could tell it wasn't ever going to do what we needed it to do. Tried another radical change again on Friday, and it was probably of Friday and Saturday. Friday was the better day, but it was only because we threw everything we had at it to try to make the track. And you could tell on Friday that it was going to be that wasn't going to be the solution. So candidly, we made a decision with the track to try to leave that track hard, and let's let it rubber up. Let's let it figure out if we can get the track so hard so that we can actually clean it up and blow it off. And it never really did it. So there was, and in that situation, people go, but where's the water truck? Well, the water truck, all it does is it digs in deeper, and you create more. And that's what people were like, you don't understand. That cushion was wet, and at the end of the night, despite what the track was, you still stick a screwdriver 4 inches deep in it. There was moisture in it. It's just, so it wasn't the way we wanted to present this last show. But what it does is that it's evidence of the absolute superiority of the sprint car drivers, because you're going 100 miles an hour and you can't see 150 feet in front of you. And you're racing guys. There was racing happening. Now, we were in constant contact with our flagmen and our internal corner workers. And despite what you may have seen from 200 feet away on the cameras and some of the pieces, there's still visibility on the racetrack. But it's absolutely not the greatest show on dirt this past weekend. And I know that it was our partners and friends at Charlotte Motor Speedway wanted and had spent all year trying to do something completely to the good, and it just didn't happen. So what we have now is a significant amount of work to fix it, and we're going to have to get the bulldozers out, and there'll be a full overhaul we'll never do that again in that situation. So, we were able to get through it. We were able to get the cautions in the right spot for the teams and for everybody's safety. Everybody made the right decision along the way and how hard they were going to race each other. They still race each other. It was made exactly what we've done all season long. We did the best with the situation that we had. And
sorry.
We did the best.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, you said
Zoom delay is this.
You mentioned it was a testament to your drivers, and one thing we really hadn't hit on is the competition level right now. It's been spectacular. There's almost 8 or 10 drivers that could win any night, specifically probably 4 or 5. But as long as I can remember, it's probably the most competitive the World of Outlaws has ever been.
Yeah, it is right now by far that I can recall the deepest field of cars. And it's a young group of talent, the guys that know how to engage with race fans and then put it on the racetrack. So it is a golden age kind of sprint car racing as you look at the young development with Logan and Jacob and David and Sheldon and Brad and Donnie and then you got Carson and you add in Reitzel now has got his ride in. It's extraordinary. And when you think about it, the top 10 in this field could win in any given night, and they're all the same speed. So all the same speed creates problems because now it looks like, the draw is so important. But the fact is you put any of those cars up front and then it could win on any given night, all 10 of them. So there's going to be, somebody's going to have to miss the boat. Somebody's going to have to kind of make some aggressive moves. But to be a sprint car fan now, and then to have all of the accessibility that we're creating and have created through social and the engagement and the broadcasts and the at track piece, it's it's exciting. I don't know what other word to use. It's exciting. And then you take them in, you bring them to the locals and the fields in Pennsylvania, the fields in Knoxville, they're increasing too. So it's really, the depth of the field is extraordinary, and the skill level, and candidly, they're all youngsters, and this is young talent, and they're exciting, and they know how to engage. They're engaging with fans, and they're got personalities, and they've got families, and it's all of those pieces that people want to be associated with, and it's exciting times. So, and the competition level, I wouldn't be afraid to get on the racetrack. These guys they kick your butt every night.
So, final few minutes here that we have with you, about 5 minutes left on this. I do want to talk real quickly. I always ask you about my beloved dirt modifieds. You not only had Oktoberfest, which was their race week up there that you were able to do finally because New York just got clobbered by this, but you also got a chance to race again. So, Oktoberfest and Brian Carter, the driver. What's the future for dirt modifieds and Brian Carter racing?
I'm going to get to keep playing. I've got my car. Spent my therapy on my car. It was all winter last year. I built it, powder coat, all cleaned it up and powder coated, got it all ready to go. Drove it up there and raced it for a half a race and got wrecked out. And then that's it. The season shuts down. So, it was very heartbreaking for me too, but I had plenty of stuff to do here. So, but to go back and to race in New York, we had some serious decisions we had to make relative to Super Dirt Week and Oktoberfest. Super Dirt Week belongs in the state of New York, and we started looking, and we may be able to make a few bucks if we moved it down. I started thinking about at the time the travel restrictions and the quarantine pieces, and you're going to cost the guys a lot of money, drive them down. You're going to spend a lot of money on car parts, and then they're very likely they'd have to quarantine for a couple of weeks when they go back. And it just got to the point where it wasn't going to make a lot of sense from a holistic perspective. Yes, World Racing Group might have made a little bit more money, but it wasn't going to be good for the whole. So we decided we would go back in through our tracks that had been consistent in trying to run this year and been long-standing dirt tracks and provide them some income, put together a great package of prize money, keep them close to home where they didn't have to travel. They could really race out of their shops each time, and really kind of worked into something I think that we can be useful in the summer. Maybe we have a speed week. Maybe we have something. So as a racer, I got to play. I got to race in the first race, and I got to race in the last race, and that was a lot of fun. I didn't embarrass myself. I raced some cars. Didn't touch nobody. My car we put it back in the trailer and put it away, and it's already. I got pictures. It's ready to go racing next year. So I'm excited about that.
That's good. That's good. Brian, as we wrap up here with you, we got like 3 minutes left on this. Is there any just final thoughts as you put a bow around this one? And we can't wait for the schedule to come out. What's your final words to Wing Nation?
Well, to Wing Nation, to everybody out there, I want to thank our teams, the commitment that our full-time platinum teams showed to us, and the resilience through this. The ability to make a phone call and schedule a race and tell everybody that they got to leave their shop and we're going racing. My World Racing Group team did a phenomenal job. Carlton was series director for a long, long time, and he is able to see through it. So in a time when we could have all been paralyzed, we all kind of pulled together and figured out a plan. And we couldn't do it without our great race fans. We had to, in a lot of places, we had to race and tell people they couldn't come in, and that's just never thought we'd ever do that. So for them, I'm appreciative and very thankful that the ones that got to see the show would understand that we had to wear masks, we had to sit apart from each other, and there were restrictions, but we had a hell of a time when we came to the racetrack. So without the teams and the fans and the engagement across the country, would not have been able to do what we did this year with the World of Outlaws. So for all that, I'm sincerely appreciative of everything that happened around us and the resilience of our fans. They bought more T-shirts from the guys than they ever have. They bought a lot of stuff to help support because they knew it was tough times. And for that, I couldn't tell you how grateful I am that we were able to pull this off. It wasn't World Racing Group that did it. It wasn't the World of Outlaws that did it. It was the racing community that did it. And for that, I'm very proud and happy to, dedicate my days and into the evening to try to figure out how to make it better. And that's what we're doing with World Racing Group and World Outlaws for 2021. We've got hope, and we've got excitement, and we've got joy, and we've got our families, and we're going forward in 21. And without that, it'd be pretty tough to imagine right now. So with it, don't stand in our way. We're coming.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Totally agree. Brian, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. And we'll talk to you after the first of the year. But thanks again. Enjoy your off season. Off season being, of course, in quotations, because we don't have those.
Couple weeks. Talk
There
to
we
you.
go. Exactly. Brian Carter, the CEO of the World Racing Group. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Pride. Passion. Performance. We are Team Dryden.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Hey Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honey Crisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey!
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
Welcome back. Always great to catch up with Brian Carter. We appreciate the Zoom call, and I can't wait because he talked about that late model race it's next weekend at Cherokee Speedway, the place your mama warned you about.
I knew you were going to say
man, I can't wait to get down there. Oh my gosh, it is cool. Yeah, they've done this Dryden Extreme Series, 6 or 8 races during the off season. I know that's a weird world anymore. And they've done that, and I actually hit Cherokee last year for it too. Oh man, it was a spectacular
I love that track.
day. Oh, place is fantastic.
An easy drive, too.
It's an easy drive. Aaron, when I was there with, it was USCS.
Yep.
There's a guy that sets up with a barbecue stand.
Pulled
pork sandwiches. Sandwiches, baby.
Yep.
Those are
and you know what? It's right by the big peach in the sky.
That's right, the big peach butt. Yes, absolutely, the peach butt. Absolutely, Gaffney.
Yep,
yeah.
known for the peach butt.
If I'm there early, because you have to drive by from Charlotte.
Yeah.
But if I get there early enough, I'll drive down and take a picture of the peach butt and send it to you. So yeah.
Okay, thanks. Great.
Absolutely. That's why it's all about you, Aaron.
I was hoping you were going to offer to bring back a sandwich.
Oh, well, no, that won't make it back. Come on now. Come on. Who are you dealing with here?
I got a peach butt.
That wouldn't make it to the North Carolina state line. That wouldn't make it to the edge of the parking lot.
I mean, yeah, and you really need to, I know you have tweeted the peach butt before, but for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, water tank is very inappropriate.
Water tank in Gaffney, South Carolina, the peach butt, for sure. Hey, Ford's racing roots extend all the way back to 1901 when Henry Ford won his first and only race. And last October when Donnie Schatz brought a Ford-powered World of Outlaws sprint car across the finish line, another win was added to the trophy case.
For anyone who loves sprint car racing, that was a banner day. It became clear the Blue Oval was back on the dirt tracks and in a big way. With the new FPS 410 engine built in America for a truly American form of racing. Ford is more committed than ever to providing grassroots racing with the contemporary power it craves.
Well, Aaron, here we are. Final weekend, final show, final deal. Final 410 race of the year in North America, Saturday, Baps Motor Speedway. They always do it up there.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Short told us earlier this week he's going to be there. You all need to be there. That's coming up. It's the Capital Renegade Sprint Car Showdown. And then I think they've got a small car enduro afterwards.
Oh, I love some enduros.
Oh, enduros. It just doesn't get any better. You get a couple cold, frosty ones after the sprint car races, and then you just hoot and holler and watch enduros. I was at the old racetrack that Ray owned, East Lincoln. I went to an enduro last year during the off-season. Oh, my God, did I have fun. I don't know who I saw. I don't know what I saw.
We need more enduros and figure eight races in our life.
Oh, figure eight racing, too. 5 Mile Point Speedway.
My favorite.
My buddy Rockin' Roger Salai was a multi-time track champion in figure eight racing.
Love me
because
some
he was
figure
the
eights.
craziest son of a gun on the property. That's why. We need that. That's for sure. Pete Walton, he's still rolling along. He's actually, I think this might be it.
No.
I know. Say it isn't. Well, it's he could schedule one
He
on
might
a
add a
Tuesday.
few more, yeah.
USCS at Southern Speedway in Milton, Florida. The Battle at the Beach World Finals Friday and Saturday night. Coming up a couple weeks down the road is a friend, the ASCS Southwest region. They're racing November 27th to 28th at Arizona Speedway in Queens Creek, Arizona. Was checking out Terry Maddox, who works for them. Looks like 2021 for the ASCS National Tour. 2 weeks ago, they were at 50 and counting dates, so that's good. This year, remember, they did that 6-night Speed Week tour. It looks like 9 races and 10 nights for Speed Weeks, and Speed Weeks are something unique to sprint car racing, although we're starting to see more and more of it. Well, it's nothing like Hell Tour for the late models, but Speed Weeks, I think looks like they're stepping that up with ASCS.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun to do. Fun to go and fun to watch. So you can find out more about them at www.ascsracing.com. That's ascsracing.com. Final show of the year, final broadcast of the year. We've got a lot of people that we want to say thank you to. Our partners, and we could not do it without Sage Fruit and Hercules Tires and Dryden and Ford Performance. They're our core key sponsors that kind of sponsor a little bit of everything that we do. Our sponsors on these digital shows, Classic Ink Screen Printing and Embroidery, the Sprint Car Hall of Fame, Aggressive Hydraulics, Plan B Sales, Hefner Racing Products, and ASCS. These are in some cases friends that become partners, in other cases partners who become friends.
Yeah.
And just wonderful people. We have so much fun. You talk about being at the track. I miss interacting with all of these friends when we're at the track this year.
Absolutely, and they all have been so good with us going through this year with all the changes we had to make.
Yeah,
with
the changes
COVID.
we had to make. What can
Zooming
we do?
shows and not
so-
going to the racetrack, and everyone has been great.
Yeah, they really have. Motor Racing Network, our president is Chris Schwartz. He loves this guy. He grew up in Indy and used to go to Eldora, so he loves sprint car racing. He's so supportive of us. Ryan Horn, and then Kreger, he just does it all. Craig is the hard worker of the crew here. He does it all. And then over the course of this year, we've had so many video and content producers that have stepped in and stepped out and moved around because it's been the same here at MRN as everywhere else. People are coming, people are going, and so all of the fine people within the industry, the drivers, the teams, the tracks, the sanctioning bodies, we just have had a wonderful year of, we've not had a wonderful year of traveling to the racetrack, but we had a wonderful year of conversations and content, and we appreciate everybody. With our television programs and the fact that these are streamed digitally, Dirt Vision, Flow Racing, the Cushion Racing Boys, they take our television program that's on Rev and Mav, and they dress it up, and even our digital programs here that a lot of you just listened to. There is video elements to this. You can find it at wingnation.com or on our YouTube channel, and they do a great job with that as well. But really more important, than Aaron, is the fans. We hear it, we see the tweets, we get to the racetrack. When we get to the racetrack, we are just blessed that so many people tune into these shows, and we really appreciate it, and it's fun, and y'all make it fun. I think Brian talked about empty grandstands are not fun. People not listening to these shows is not fun. Yeah. So we do appreciate it. We really, truly do. So with that, we're going to just knock this year out and call it.
Whew.
Yeah.
A little bittersweet, but I'm ready for 2021.
I think the end of this one is more sweet than bitter.
Than usual.
It really is. Yeah, absolutely. And maybe we just need to get together on New Year's Eve. I don't celebrate New Year's Eve, but I might celebrate New Year's Eve.
I think everyone is this year.
I think everyone is this year for sure. So Wing Nation apparel and gear is available at www.wingnation.com. Coming up this weekend on our television program on Rev and Mav, Brad Sweet, the big cat.
Champion,
that's for sure. So we appreciate it. Have a good off season, Aaron.
You too.
Oh yeah. I'm sure our paths will cross somewhere along the way.
Bet.
We got to figure out some dining options across the board.
Yes, for sure, and some cold beverages maybe.
Yes, for sure. Oh, ding, 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 we have a winner. She's Aaron Evernham. I'm Steve Post. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Dryden, by DRF Racing Oils, and by Hercules Tires.